Alright, we back, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome everybody to another edition of the 220 Podcast, brought to you by 6ix9ine. I'm one of the hosts, David King. My brother Ben Wavy's still off this week. Football, host of other things he got going on. So shout out to him. He'll be back soon. But the show must go on. So I said skip it. I'll hold it down by myself. I did a show like this before. It was pretty good, so we decided to go ahead and do it again. Keep the ball rolling, man. Keep it going. I hate being off and being inconsistent, so I said let me go ahead and just jump back on here and hopefully get the people something, to keep the ball rolling and keep the show going. Let you know that we still here, we still alive, we still pushing. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of bullshit going on behind the scenes. You gotta push through no matter what's going on and get the job done. So 220 Podcast is back. I'm working on some other things too, so I'm always working on something, as you guys know. Keep growing your prayers. He going through custody. I'll let him tell you everything once he get back. But he fighting for his kids and a lot of stuff going on. So pray for him, and we're gonna continue rolling. And we're gonna keep pushing. We don't stop for nobody. This is second to nobody. We don't stop. We just keep going. We work through everything. So that's what I'm gonna keep doing. So, if you don't know about us, we run a little company called Second to Nobody Entertainment. You can find out everything you need to know at secondtonobody.com. If you're listening to this on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and subscribe. Follow us on Audio Mac. You can follow us on Twitter at the 220 Podcast, on Instagram at the 220 Podcast. You can also Instagram Second to Nobody, or go to Twitter and follow Nobody Second. You can follow me personally on Instagram at David King, or on Twitter at David King TV. And you can follow my brother at Wavy220 on Twitter, or Sip Beats, SCIPBATZ, on Instagram. Sip Beats. And go ahead and like this if you want Audio Mac or YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment on YouTube or Audio Mac, and help us keep this show rolling and getting bigger. Also, you can buy this podcast at secondtonobody.com/the220 Podcast. All money goes to making the show better. Obviously, the podcast is free. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, as I just said. But just think of it more like a donation. If you like what we're doing, if you support and you want to help us continue to grow and get bigger, you can just support. Throw down like a little $3 donation. Say this was a great episode. Go ahead and get it and help us out. We'd appreciate it. Much love. And that's it. We got an action-packed show tonight. I was trying to see what number. Hold on, let me. So we ain't got no phone tonight. I can multitask, and I'll tell you what number we on. We've been off for, I think, like 2-3 weeks. Let me see. Okay. Alright, that don't work so well. I believe it's episode like 39 or something like that. But yeah. Oh, and I just found out Nate Diaz and that Jorge Masvidal press conference is going on as we speak. So I forgot about that. Okay, yeah. This episode 39. So this episode 39, 220 Podcast, and we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. Antonio Brown, Jalen Ramsey, some of the quarterbacks got hurt. Cam, 6ix9ine snitching, Killer Mike. We're gonna do politics, gun control. We're gonna touch on some money, some investments, the markets, pretty much everything. So it's an action-packed show. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the show. I think start off with sports. Yeah, I think the hottest thing. It's gonna be, like I said, different kind of show too. Usually we do more of a debate style show. With me handling the show solo right now, it's gonna be more of a opinionated show. One viewpoint, but we encourage debate and conversation, not one track ideology. We're not really into all that. But like I said, let's go ahead and get into sports, man, because I think the biggest story in sports is Antonio Brown. And if Antonio Brown, he's a wide receiver in the NFL, former player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now he plays for the New England Patriots. Was just traded from the Oakland Raiders. I really wish it would have worked out for him in Oakland. I'm a big John Gruden fan, so I want to see John Gruden do well. He catch a lot of hate. And it's sad that wasn't able to work out there, but I'm happy he's in New England because now we got a chance to do something special. He's in the same position as another great receiver, Randy Moss, who had a troubled career, but a great one at the same time. AB hasn't really had a troubled career. It's just been really like a whirlwind as of late. I remember, watching him on First Take back when Mike Wallace, he was another receiver. I don't know who Mike Wallace plays for right now. So shout out to Mike Wallace though. But I remember watching Antonio Brown with Mike Wallace, and he was a totally different guy. He was very soft-spoken, very quiet, very productive, but it was more seen that Mike Wallace was, the wild receiver, the outspoken one. And I don't know what happened. Like, at some point in Antonio's career, like, it's almost like he woke up and realized he was Antonio Brown. And, just kind of switched. And it's not a negative switch to me. It was just an awareness switch of who he was, his position, and how to leverage it. And he's done, some good things, some bad things with it. But, he's the talk of the league right now. And like I said, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. That could build you up or that could break you. We're going to see how he handled it. He handled it good so far. First game, I think he had like 8 targets, 4 receptions, a touchdown. So, he taking care of business on the field, and that's what's most important. But a lot of stuff going on off the field. I think Nike just dropped him. And obviously, he had a $15 million guaranteed deal, not only a $9 million guaranteed deal. Although, I think he can make up the $15 million this season, which was guaranteed money, and then hopefully get picked up again, and that might actually exceed the contract that he was gonna have. So, it's some, it's a weird situation that he's in. I respect Antonio. I like him a lot. I respect all athletes that are almost kind of stuck in the situation that he's in. We live in this new culture where, it's not just about being, an athlete anymore. Like back in the day, like it just, you was just a football player. Now these guys want to be, their own individual, celebrities or whatever, and it wasn't always like that. And you can't blame them for that. I mean, people want to maximize, their talent, want to maximize their opportunities in life, and I don't think nothing's wrong with that. You like to see them do it in a more professional way sometimes. I think a lot of people get to feeling entitled, and sometimes don't have respect for the position they in. It has to be a give and pull situation. It can't be one person thinks they're responsible for everything. That's not fair. It's not realistic. It's a team effort, and everybody has to know that in order to make a situation work. But Antonio Brown basically I kind of lost my train of thought. So Antonio Brown basically, he's in a weird situation now. Like I said, I wanted it to work out well for him in Oakland, partly because of the Raiders going to Las Vegas, and me being a fan of Las Vegas, and may or may not be living in that location one day. I wanted to see them be successful, and it's a shame they couldn't be. Because, like I said, I'm a big John Gruden fan. I support John Gruden a lot. I think he's a great coach. I mean, I know he was a great coach back then. Everybody thinks it's a different era today, and they hate on him and call him TV and this because he did Monday Night Football and he did the QB camp and all that stuff. But if it's in your heart, man, it's in your heart. So I support John Gruden, and I hate that. I thought it would actually be a good dynamic between those two because they kind of got the same thing. But I think it's one thing to play for a team that's building to get good. It's another thing to play for the world champions. And when you got an opportunity to play for the Patriots, which I believe he knew before exiting the Raiders, then why wouldn't you take that opportunity? I think everybody would want to be a part of that. Who wouldn't want to play with Tom Brady? You know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't want to be coached by Bill Belichick? You know what I'm saying? So I understand his position, and who wouldn't? And he, like I said, he's the biggest star in the league right now, which leads to the next controversy, where he now has women putting out allegations against him from the past, saying this or that. You can look the stories up yourself and see what you believe. And I'm not saying if the stories are true or false. I don't know, but what I do know is that you didn't hear this until it became lucrative. Until he was, I think the allegations that they're saying happened in 2016, 2017. I'm not sure. I guess whenever this girl was his personal trainer. Like I said, I'm not saying she's lying. I don't know anything about, their relationship. All that has to be investigated by whoever does those type of investigations. I'm not the guy. I'm a fucking... I just host a show. But in all seriousness, to me, when you throw things like he raped me and things that are being said, those are serious allegations that should be brought forth immediately. From what I understand, this woman is suing. She's not seeking prosecution. She's seeking profit. And, I don't want to be, disrespectful, but if you think that a man raped you, or if you say that a man raped you and you seek profit over prosecution, that's basically prostitution, because you're basically saying he raped me, but give me money and I'll be fine, which is prostitution. Now, if she was seeking to have him prosecuted and jailed because she wanted him off the streets because he was a danger to other women's safety or something like that, that would be totally different. But we're talking about people that are coming looking for money years down the line when somebody's name becomes super high profile and is in the spotlight. Antonio Brown wasn't necessarily in the spotlight in 2016, 2017 like he is now. He wasn't a household name like he is now. So as soon as all the controversy with the Raiders and the helmet and the coaches and all that stuff goes down, then you have, oh, by the way, here goes some allegations. So, timing is questionable, but at the same time, you don't know. You don't want to disrespect no victims or anything like that, but, you got to call it how you see it, I mean, this is questionable, It's almost like opportunity seeking. There's some emails unverified. But my point is, the timing to me is sketchy, and but I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. I'm just saying the timing of it is sketchy. But really, we just want the best for AB. This right here, this is what they do. This is what they do to our athletes. This is where they tear them down, and they try to throw them away. And I'm a big component of protecting our own, And that's not to say he's right or he's wrong or she's right or she's wrong. I just like to protect my own. You know what I'm saying? I just want to protect my own. And, so, we support AB over here. And we hope he can get it together and keep balling out. And we wish him the best in New England. And we think he's going to do great things. We also wish John Gruden the best in Oakland. I think they won the first game, and we want to see them continue to have much success. And so, AB, keep your head up, boy. Keep balling out there. Do your thing. And like I said, we with you. And I think he started a trend because now, if you look at, I think they're playing tonight, Thursday night football. What time is it? It's like 9 o'clock, so the game probably on. Jaguars and Titans. And Jalen Ramsey, the cornerback of the star cornerback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, now he's asking to be traded. And so it's almost an NBA NFL thing where the players in the NBA demand trades. They pick where they want to go. They pick their landing spots. And now the NFL athletes have caught on and have said, you know what? I don't want to be stuck here in a losing organization. I don't want my whole career to be losing. I want to play here. I want to play with this player. I want to, and it's caught on in the NFL. So you see a guy like Jalen Ramsey asking to be traded, and getting into it with his head coach on the sideline. So it's a new era. It's a new era in sports and the way it's going and the way teams are being put together and tampering and all this other stuff. But I would like to see Jalen Ramsey. He's another guy, How long can you play in a losing organization? How long do you want to be losing before you're like, you know what, let me get the hell up out of here. Let me go somewhere where my talent can be utilized, where we can have run by a good organization, good coaching staff, and we actually getting better versus just wasting years of my career for a poor team. And, just to only be thrown to the side when they say you don't got it no more. So, I'm all for the players doing what they got to do to be in the best situation they got to be in. You obviously want them to stay on the teams that they on because you want the best situation for the fans in that community. But, at the end of the day, if it's not working, it's not working. That's just what it is. So, we'll see what happens with Jalen Ramsey. I think a lot of rumors is out there right now that he could be traded to the Chiefs, which would be crazy because, they already got a roster, and Patrick Mahomes is looking like he might be the real deal for a long time going forward. And so, that's just something to keep your eye out. So keep your eye out for Jalen Ramsey. But, we also had a lot of injuries. Drew Brees, Big Ben Roethlisberger, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Drew Brees, and the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees tore a ligament in his thumb, I believe. He'll be out for 6 weeks. Big Ben, I don't know what injury he had, but I know he's out for the season. I think he hurt his shoulder or something, his elbow. I don't know what happened to Big Ben. And he'll be out for the season. So those are two high-profile quarterbacks that aren't going to get to finish the season or going to miss a large majority of the season, if not all of the season. And it just started. So, football is an unforgiving game, and it's going to be tough. But I'm reading right now. Yeah, he got an elbow injury. So I was reading about Big Ben. Yeah, he got an elbow injury. So he might be out for the season. Maybe he comes back. Big Ben tough as hell. But it just goes to show you, Steelers fans got to be hard on them. Saints fans got to be hard on them. But that's the league. But it's hard on me right now too, because obviously, like I said, I'm out here in Carolina right now, and my team is 0-2. The Carolina Panthers, they 0-2. Cam has not been looking good. He's not in MVP form, to say the least. And I heard Colin say something earlier, Colin Coward, because I was watching a little bit of Colin, to prepare for this show. Forgive me if I'm not there yet. It might take a couple episodes. Hopefully, bro can come back and help save me. But he said, you know, he said Cam Newton is not only playing quarterback, he's not only trying to be the quarterback, but he's trying to be Cam Newton. Like it's a job to be just him. You know what I'm saying? As far as everything else that goes on, whether it be the outfits or the self promotion, or like it's not just enough job to be the quarterback. He also has to be Cam Newton, and that's kind of a hindrance, if you will. But to me, first we should probably rewind. First, let me start by saying this: I'm a big Cam fan. I have been since he's been at Auburn. I love him because he's won on every level: college, high school, NFL. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but he's made it to the big game. And even when he was at Florida, and he got kicked out of Florida when Tebow was starting, and he got kicked out of Florida for the laptop and all that stuff, and he went to the little college and had to build it up and then go to Auburn and then come back, win a national title. That ability to overcome that adversity, that being knocked down, that's something that he's always experienced, that he's always overcame. And that's one reason why, I'm such a big fan and believe that he can overcome this moment even now, even though it's looking dark. So when I see people count him out, I know he's experienced those moments where he's been counted out before. So I know he has what it takes to come back and overcome that. Now, with that being said, it's kind of a different time because, he's experienced the highest success. He's been an MVP, played in the Super Bowl, won Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, NFC champion, Heisman, whole bunch of stuff. So at this level of success, 9 years in, that drive, you got to have a certain level of intensity, a certain level of drive to continue. Like, all right, now do it again. Like everybody's not Tom Brady, where it's like, okay, do it again. All right, do it again. You did it, now do it again. That's something different. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like he got to find that drive, and sometimes when you losing a lot, when you get knocked down a lot, it can take. It can take it out of you. Life can take your biggest. I don't want to say this. Like, life can take the fight out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have, and it's the same thing with football. You can have so much bad that keeps happening before that good happens that you give up on the good happening because it's always bad. So you stop trying, you stop working, you fall off. And those are the things that can hold you back. You just got to continue doing the same things even when it's bad and it seems like shit never going to get better. And I feel like once we get there, we'll be okay. Because, to put things in context, he just had shoulder surgery this offseason. He didn't play in the preseason. He comes out the first 2 games looking terrible, and he doesn't practice because he's coming off of surgery. So he doesn't have time to throw to the receivers during the week or work on none of that. So it's impossible to get into the game and to be sharp. I mean, it's just not a realistic thing. So, some decisions going to have to be made. Do I still believe in Cam? Yes. But, they got to put the right pieces around him. They got to put the right pieces around him. And he got to find that fire, that fire to propel him to, silence the critics and the will to win, the drive to win, Like, nobody's going to give you shit. So wanting to win is not enough. It can't be like, I want to win. You got to go win. Like, you got to make that shit happen. It can't be, I want to win. I want to win. I want to win so bad. Now, you got to make that shit happen. You got to will them wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it's crunch time and it's fourth quarter and it's 2 minutes left and Brady got the ball, Aaron Rodgers got the ball, they're not thinking like, man, I want to win. Like, they're like, I'm about to go fucking win. Like, I'm about to do what has to be done. And that's the same approach you got to have in life, in the game, and everything. But, I done seen a lot of analysts like Paul Feinbaum, and who's an idiot, by the way, and, just a whole bunch. They're trying to count Cam out right now, and his situation is not fair. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that's been trashed for years that don't get half the criticism. But, when you got an MVP caliber quarterback, a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, who I'm going to go ahead and say, is black, they have a problem with it. But, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, even though Eli Manning just got benched. But, Phillip Rivers, who's been terrible in San Diego for a long time. And there's so many, there's so many other quarterbacks, and throughout the league that are just terrible that, they try to, I don't know, man, just don't let them tear down our athletes. Cam's only 30 years old. Brady's 40. So remember that when they're trying to throw players away. Drew Brees is 41, Cam's only 30 years old and they're trying to throw him away and say he's not worthy of the league. He's won MVP, he's Super Bowl and everything else. And now they're saying throw him away. But, Phillip Rivers and I don't even know none of these quarterbacks in the league. Kirk Cousins and all these other quarterbacks that get all these opportunities that end up on these different teams. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that end up on all these different teams that have shown to be terrible. They get these $100 million contracts and are fucking terrible, but somehow end up playing quarterback for a franchise. But then our guys, they bash, and Michael Vick can't do it no more. Can't do it no more. Who else they do? Steve Young. There's so many of them. RG3. They literally put our guys out the league to give their guys opportunities and say this style doesn't work, only this one does, and that's not true. So, protect our athletes, please. That's all I got to say. But, Cam, we believe in you, but he got to lock in. He got to get his head straight, and he got to prove to these motherfuckers that he can still go hold it down. But I believe that he will. Like I say, if it was a stock, he low right now, but we're gonna hold on, and we're gonna hope for the best. So, Cam, we with you, man, but get it together. And once again, they doing, like I said, how they do, how they do us. You see Odell Beckham, he's, now he's in trouble because he's not in trouble, but they fined him, I believe, I don't know how much, because he wore a watch, a Richard Mille watch on the field. It's a $350,000 watch, but he wore it on the field. It's a rubber watch. You can't wear this or you can't wear that. If he would have been out there in a damn Apple Watch, wouldn't nobody have said nothing. But because he's flashy and because he's Odell and because he wears, a $350,000 watch and he catches the blogs and he catches everybody's attention, now all of a sudden, they want to fine him and he's a distraction. It shouldn't even bother nobody. He's playing football in a watch. What's the fucking problem? Is his watch hurting anybody? You know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing that's hurting is his motherfucking pocket. Like, come on, man. So that's bullshit. And, I just little things like that. If anybody else would have done that, they have no problem. The quarterback come out with the little play calling sheet on his wrist. You know what I'm saying? He looks at it. So, I don't see what the fucking problem is. But it's just little things like that where they nitpick. They nitpick at our athletes and try to, you're yelling on the sidelines, you're a distraction. Somebody else yelling on the sidelines, they're a motivator. You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather is, a bad guy, but Conor McGregor is a badass. You know what I'm saying? Like, just all that type of shit, dog. Just don't let it blind you. And I see what's going on. Sorry, I don't know. We getting all over the place here, but it's the truth. The shit that they doing is just watch how they treat our athletes. You know what I'm saying? Just watch how they treat our athletes. you know, and what else? What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? That's pretty much it. Like I said on the NFL, like I said, Eli got benched for Daniel Jones. Um, Thursday night football tonight, Jags versus Titans. Uh, Maybe the Titans are kind of liking that game because the Jags got all this trade controversy going on. But you never know; it might bring them together. Anything could happen. To me, it's a pick 'em. Both teams, neither one are really expected to do anything. But you gotta love Mariota and Derrick Henry. My game of the week, as far as the NFL goes, is the Ravens versus the Chiefs, and that's going to be both teams 2-0. Lamar Jackson playing unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes playing unbelievable. It's going to be a head-to-head matchup. So we excited for that one. I also got a new little thing that I'm doing at the end of this called the Player of the Week, and I'll tell you who that is in a second. But I want to get into some NBA news, which is Lonzo versus LeVar. I don't know if you've seen it. A clip came out. LeVar Ball calling his son Lonzo. Lonzo, who's drafted by the Lakers, got traded to the Pelicans this season, or this offseason. Damaged goods. They were arguing over the Big Baller brand, which is the brand they started, BBB. And Lonzo wanted to change the name because he felt like the brand was falling apart, wasn't what it used to be. And LeVar was completely against that. He felt offended by that because obviously he came up with that name. He had built the brand up to that point. He didn't want to restart. So he took, complete control and was basically letting it be known that, he wasn't for that. In the midst of doing that, because obviously LeVar cares about the brand. It's important to him. He feels like it's something that he built. And Lonzo basically said, look, the brand is damaged. And which I'm not sure if it is, but obviously that's what he felt, and he was thinking about changing the name. And LeVar wasn't having it. And in the midst of it, he said, he blamed Lonzo and said, is the brand damaged because you damaged goods or something like that. Basically because Lonzo's out there looking like damaged goods. And, it was just kind of a shift. Everybody was just, shocked, like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't know. Lonzo's grown. I don't want to baby him. You know what I'm saying? I hate to break it to you, but he is out there looking like damaged goods. I mean, we picked the guy number 2, and he wasn't really doing that. He's an incredible rebounder. He's pretty long on defense, but in this day and age, you need to be able to score. I mean, Russell Westbrook's putting up triple doubles. Steph Curry's putting up 30 points. John Wall's putting up double doubles. You can't have a point guard that's out there getting 6 points every night. Regardless of how good you hope he be in the future. You need actual production, and Lonzo wasn't giving production. So to me, he wasn't damaged goods. He was never really that good at all. But he just had a great hype machine behind him, and there's nothing wrong with that. We support the boss, their family, everything they've been able to accomplish because they set a blueprint on how to build a brand. LeVar is the mastermind. I've praised him many times on this show, but I think it was wrong to, kind of call out his son publicly, but they did it. It's a reality show, and so you kind of wonder, was it for the show? Was it for real? And that's pretty much it, But I would have kept it private if I was them. I don't know if they had to, show that. I don't think LeVar felt good about saying that. I think he got very defensive of the brand that he had built up to that point, and it probably came out the wrong way. But Lonzo grown, and he has to play better in the NBA anyway. So if he was offended by it, he should just go into the gym and get better, because it's not like he's been out here balling in the league. So I mean, that's just reality. But there's also, while we're on the NBA, there's also some rumors that a star player might go to the Warriors in free agency. I don't know if you guys heard, but Ramona Shelburne on ESPN she's reporting that Giannis Antetokounmpo could be interested in joining the Warriors this offseason. So that's something to keep your eyes on. We'll see what the Bucks do this season. And, offseason coming up. I know the Bucks say they're going to offer him the max. But, who knows? Maybe he doesn't want to. Like I say, players are picking their destiny. Players want to be a part of winning organizations. It's something to keep your eyes out for. So, like I say, it's rumors going around. Giannis might join the Warriors. Keep your eyes out for that. And then the player of the week, we got Lamar Jackson. So I told you we was doing the player of the week. This is the first player of the week. The first player of the week is Lamar Jackson. I don't know what he is. He's the first quarterback. I think he had like 100 yards passing, 100 yards, 200 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, something like that. And he's our player of the week. He's been balling out. Okay, here we go. I pulled it up. He had 272 yards passing, 120 yards running. He's the first player in NFL history with 250 yards passing and 120 yards rushing in a single regular season game. So, shout out to him. People are saying Kaepernick did it in the playoffs, but I mean, whatever. So, yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much it on sports. That was fun. Like I say, bear with me. I'm doing a show by myself. I usually have somebody to yell at. Shout out to Bill Wavy. But I'm doing this by myself this time, so just bear with me, people. Hang in there. We got hip-hop coming up next. Hip-hop and culture. And what we got? 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine. I mean, 6ix9ine. I mean, where do we start? 6ix9ine, he was a rapper. I mean, if you know him, you know him. Basically, he's caught, and his case has come around. He's testifying now, and he's testifying against everybody. I mean, anybody who's anybody, I mean, they're part of this 9 Trey Blood gang. Since he took the stand, he's testified against Trippie Redd, Casanova, Jim Jones, and apparently now they're saying Cardi B. I mean, I really don't want to talk about too much. We don't want to give snitches too much airtime. I'm not really shocked that he's snitching. I'm more shocked how he's snitching. How he's cooperating. Like, I mean, this guy, I mean, he's in all the way. I mean, you can read the transcripts. You can hear what's going on for yourself. It's pretty fucking disgusting. What he's doing, especially when you look at how he tried to present himself when he came in the game. People say, oh, if they try to do this to my baby mother, if they try to rob me or kidnap me or send me a blah, blah. What do you think niggas is trying to do? Why do you think street niggas is your friends? Like, that's your first mistake. Thinking that they really your friends. Like, why would you think some nigga in the hood would not be trying to fuck your baby mama? You can go to any nigga in the hood and leave him at the house with your baby mama. He gonna try to fuck her. Like, any nigga that has more than his niggas have when they sitting around watching him is a liability. The jealousy, the envy. That's why the hood ain't where you want to be. That's why niggas don't want to hang out there all day. It's stupid. I'll be damned if I want to sit out on the block all day. My niggas is out here getting real money. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just want to sit outside on the block just standing around looking stupid. That shit is retarded. I'm sorry, I'm getting off. This is why I need my co-host, because I get to going off script, get to talking about everything. Nah, but like I said, I don't want to give 6ix9ine too much airtime, 6ix9ine too much airtime. I'm just gonna say, like Nipsey said, I don't even know why you niggas surprised. Tekashi told, But like I said, what I am surprised about is to the level he cooperated. I mean, this dude is witness. I mean, he's a federal witness. I mean, it's despicable. But in good bad news, man. I don't know if you've seen the story. Actually, if you follow the 220 podcast on Twitter, you know, we run some news stories. We pick out the stories that we think are interesting that we run, and we put them on the Twitter page. So we always follow some. And one of them we just ran was Mac Miller. Mac Miller, when he died, he had $11 million estate that he left to his family and friends. And we just think that's something cool, and that's why it's so important to have your investments and your money and all that stuff stored away, so you can leave it for the people behind you, so the people after you have something, and you're not left with nothing. And so we think that is dope with Mac Miller. I'm about to pull it up so I can tell you exactly what he left and who he left it to. Hold up. Actually, you can look it up yourself. Just go to the 220 podcast Twitter page, and it got a list of everyone he left it to. But I think he had like $5 million in brokers accounts that he left for his parents. He left all his jewelry to one of his friends, left his furniture, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, man. So shout out to Mac Miller. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. We love Mac Miller, man, and it's a great thing that you was able to leave something behind for your family, and I know it's appreciated. What else? I don't know if y'all seen. I don't even know what happened, so I probably can't even speak on it. When there was a fight at the battle rap event, Mook and Calico, Briz and T-Top got in a fight during the battle. Mook ended up punching Briz over. I don't know what happened. I got to do more research on that. We're gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back and talk about that probably on the next show or something. I'm gonna do a little more and see what caused that. I don't really know, but what I do know is right before, that's pretty much all we got on hip hop. Right before we head into politics, I want everybody to go check out the Revolt Summit and Killer Mike. As soon as I saw that, I knew it was golden, and I actually tweeted it out like, please, somebody repost this video. And I found it on the Revolt Instagram, and and now it's everywhere. But Killer Mike, he went on this rant about politics, about black people, about what we need to do, and how we need to improve ourselves and our communities, and just there's no man. The only way to do it is for us to do it ourselves. We're steady asking for handouts. We're steady asking. I've talked about this. If you listen to this podcast, I encourage you to go back and listen to the old ones, the shows with me and my brother, where we talk about things like this. The Nipsey show, I think the Jay-Z show. It's a whole bunch of different ones. You can just pick one, catch up on all the episodes, and you'll understand. We've been talking about this for a long time. We have to build our own communities ourselves. We have to, we can't sit back and depend on white America. We can't depend on the government. We can't depend on anybody. We have to depend on ourselves. When you look at our community, we don't take care of it. Yeah, we live in the hood, but why not fix the hood? Well, for instance, if you have a big house, and that house is dirty. Every time I go over there, there's bugs there. You got clothes all over the place. There's dishes in the sink. I mean, it doesn't feel like paradise. But if I have a little apartment, a little 1-bedroom apartment, and I keep it clean, and it's spotless, and every time you walk in, everything's neat, and you know where it is, it's gonna feel like it's worth more than that big house that's dirty as fuck. And that's what I'm saying. We have less right now in our communities with the hood and with what we have. But if we clean it up and we change our environment, like we can rebuild each house in the hood one by one. We don't have to wait for the government to come do it or for this person to come do it. Like, it's something that we can do. We can clean up our own streets. We can clean up our own buildings. And we just don't choose to do that. We choose to live in the environment, filthy, dirty, drug infested, all this type of stuff. We don't want to clean up our own communities, and then we want to get defensive about those communities if somebody calls them out. We're in this weird situation of not having nothing but being offended if anybody says that. Um, and basically, everybody needs to go listen to Killer Mike. They also need to go listen to Thomas Sowell. You know, he said Killer Mike dropped a whole bunch of names that he wanted people to go study. And the only one I got a chance to look at was Thomas Sowell. And I think when people see that, they're going to be interested, because I would like to. It was a whole name of people, and I wrote them all down, so I'm gonna give them to you. But one of the names was Thomas Sowell, Sowell, and Thomas Sowell, he's actually a black conservative, which was shocking. That's why when you watch the clip and you hear Candace Owens saying yes, 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 yes in the background, because the names of the people that Killer Mike are recommending are black conservatives, people that don't have liberal viewpoints or liberal ideology as to what's holding us back and how to, move forward as a culture. And one thing that that Thomas Sowell talks about is outcomes and opportunities. And it's a whole bunch of stuff that I encourage people to go listen to and just take things from a different perspective. And I think that'd be good. And but you gotta be willing to have a conversation. If you're not willing to have a conversation, if you're not willing to open your mind, if you're not willing to look at things from a different angle, then it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? You need to stay stuck in that little bubble that you're in and continue being mad at the world. But it's opportunity out here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to go ahead and give off all the names real quick so people can go look them up for themselves and do their own research. Because if you're not doing research and if you're not studying on this stuff, you will never know. And if you will never know, then, you're going to be one of those people that's like, well, I didn't know. Like, how did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I did research. I didn't know. Well, nobody ever told me, or something like that. You're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. You got to do your own shit. You got to find all this stuff out on your own. You got to figure it out. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't think hard work is hard work. Man, hard work is fucking hard, bro. I'm struggling every motherfucking day trying to get this shit done. It ain't easy, I wake up. I don't even want to get into it. I'm not even trying to make it about me, but the names of some of the people, like I said, I've only been able to look up Thomas Sowell, but the names are Thomas Sowell, Walter E. Williams, Antonio Moore, Yvette Carnell, Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, and Stokely Carmichael. So, if you listen to this, those are the names that Killer Mike said to go look up, and that was your homework. So I've been trying to do my homework, and I've been looking these names up and looking up these people, and I'm still studying. So, you should do the same and get up on it. But shouts to Killer Mike. Thank him for his viewpoints and hopefully his motivation. Hopefully he motivated somebody to do something, because there's a lot of talking and ain't a lot of doing. And, we ain't about that. But since we is, like I said, we might as well take that over and then switch over to politics. Gun control. So I'm trying to figure out, before we start, I want to say our thoughts and prayers go out to any victims, anybody or anything that's been affected by gun violence or anything like that in their life. And our heart truly goes out to them, and we're not insincere to that. Now, with that being said, I'm against gun regulation for this reason. I'm not against background checks. I think background checks are fine. But one thing that people don't realize is, when you look at most of the cases of all the mass shootings that we've had, a background check wouldn't have helped. So it might make people feel better in name, but it wouldn't necessarily do anything to fix the problem. And neither would taking away guns, and this is why. Okay. I don't know the exact number. I think the number is around 300. There's been like 300 mass shootings over, I don't know how many years. But there's millions of gun owners. Gun owners of automatics, regular weapons, all type of weapons. And there's not millions of mass shootings. There's definitely a lot of shootings. And a lot of those are in inner city environments, African American communities, gang members, us killing each other, But I'm talking about mass shootings because when we talk about taking away weapons, you talk about taking them from everybody, even legal gun owners. All you do when you do that is you put innocent people at risk, because if you take away guns from people, the 36 million people that don't go out and shoot people but own guns, then you're saying that the only people that get to have the guns are the criminals and the police officers. So, because listen, if people are going out and they're committing mass murder, they're already breaking the law. So them having a gun is nothing compared to innocent people. Like, okay, I'm sorry, I fucked that up. My fault. Let me try to rephrase it for you like this. If you take away guns from innocent people, the only people that are still going to have the guns are the criminals. Criminals don't care about breaking the law because they're willing to murder people. So they're not worried about breaking the law to have a gun. So what you're saying is that I can't protect myself anymore. You come to my house, you take my gun. I can't protect my house anymore. A criminal comes to my house with a gun. Because, by the way, if they take away all the guns aren't going to disappear. It's just that people who obey the law, who listen to the law, are going to be willing to turn their weapons in. Not the criminals, not the people in the streets, not the people who get guns illegally across the border or go out of state or wherever they go. Those people are still going to have weapons. So the only people that you're taking guns away from, if you ban guns, are the people that only use them for protection. So I'm not going out to kill anybody in no mass murder, no shootings or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I have a gun to protect myself in my home. If you tell me I can't have mine and I follow the law, so I turn in my gun, what happens when a criminal who doesn't follow the law shows up and approaches me with a gun? Who's going to save me? Or when we turn in our guns and we say we want the police to protect us, but the police are shooting black people. But we trust them with the guns, but we don't trust ourselves with it. That's a problem. If you want to take away guns, you got to take them away from everybody. You can't let police run around armed. What does the police need a gun for against an unarmed citizen? If citizens aren't supposed to have weapons, then why should the police have weapons? Why should the police be able to use deadly force? Everyone should be able to protect themselves. It's a right. It's important. It's important. If you're a woman and you're by yourself and you're walking down the street, you know what's going to happen? Crime is going to increase because you're going to embolden criminals, because they're going to say, we know people don't have guns now. Now we know that if we do a home invasion, this person won't have a gun. So we feel more confident about being able to go in any random home and rob somebody. We feel confident about being able to grab any little girl because we know that she doesn't have a gun in her purse, so there's nothing that she can do. You take away safety from people that need it, and you embolden criminals by taking away weapons. It's a way to make it feel like you're fixing the problem, but you're really making the problem worse for people that shouldn't have to worry about this crap. You know? The biggest problem here is mental health. When you talk about schools, I saw this tweet earlier, I think it was from like Jamel Hill or something, and it was some kids in school, and they were showing like school shootings with like little kids. And that's true. School shootings are wrong, and it's terrible that a kid can walk into a school and gun them down. But, you know, I want people to understand this. Even if you take away guns, let's say there's no guns, what are you going to do about those kids that are picking and bullying on kids in school? The kid that goes to school every day and gets made fun of and gets picked on and gets joked on and gets criticized, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like he's good enough and feel like he's outcast. Even if he doesn't have a gun, you don't think he's going to go to school and try to stab somebody? You don't think he'll look up and try to take a bomb to school because of the way people are treating him? Stop acting like these kids are at school and everybody's just these innocent little kids who are just happy. These kids are bad. Or not all kids, but most kids are. Most kids cuss, they're bad. They pick on people, they get bullied. Everybody's been through it. Everybody's been to high school. So you know how it is. So that's what's being forgotten about here. What is going on with these kids to where they're pushing these kids to want to react like this? You know, if there was no guns, if a kid's going to school and getting picked on every day by somebody or a group of people, and then that kid comes and does something terrible to that school, it's not because of the gun. It's because of the way he was being treated. You got to stop blaming the gun and start looking at individuals. If you take away weapons and somebody, listen, and then people say things like, oh, well, you know, well, I would rather fight this than have to fight a gun or something like that. Man, stop. And you don't even know what can come. People are creative. The only reason why you're mad at the guns is because they haven't thought about the next thing. And you know, I'm not feeling I'm doing my best job explaining this, but my point is that guns are important for people's protection, not criminals, but for innocent people's protection. For me to be able to protect my family in case somebody tries to do something to us. For my sisters who are women who may live by themselves, I don't want anybody to be able to do anything to them. I don't want somebody, a male, to be able to walk up on my sister because he knows that she's not protected or that she can't do. I want that awareness out there. I'm not going to mess with this person because they may have a gun and they may shoot me if I try something. You know, that needs to be a common threat out there. And people need to be able to protect themselves. That's just my feeling on it. And I should have did a better job articulating it, and I will next time as we continue to go on. It's the first show. I'm a little tired. It's 10 now, so we've been doing this since I think like 8. So yeah, on and off. What else is going on? Politics, healthcare, the healthcare debate. This is my thing with healthcare. And I think everybody deserves healthcare. I'm not for that, but the thing is, you know, when you got these socialists like Bernie Sanders, the things that they want to do, they sound good, but they're not realistic. So he wants to raise taxes on the wealthy, right? And then that sounds good to everyone because they go, oh my God, he's raising taxes on the wealthy. Yeah, we want the wealthy to pay more. Then he says, I'm going to give you free health care. Well, then how do you give free health care for everybody to pay for universal health care? You have to raise taxes on the middle class as well. So you raise taxes on the wealthy to try to get, which they're not going to pay anyway because they're going to pass them off on to the consumer or they're going to lay people off of work. I mean, it's very simple. But anyway, most people don't understand that unless you run a business. So they're going to raise taxes on the wealthy to tell people, the wealthy doesn't pay enough taxes. We're going to raise taxes on them. But then what he does quietly is he raises taxes on you to pay for everybody's health care. So the middle class gets a tax raise too. So now you're actually losing more money than you would if he wasn't there because you're paying for universal health care. So what he tells you that he's going to take from the wealthy, it doesn't. You're never going to feel it anyway because your taxes aren't going to get lower. Your taxes are going to get risen because you also have to pay for the health care. So he's talking about taking more money out of your pocket. And then where does that money go? To the government. And who controls it? Well, him. Because they get to decide where the funds are going to go. So basically, he's talking about taking money more. It's a bunch of crap. I don't even want to get into it. Bernie Sanders supporters need to wake the hell up and realize, the guy is an idiot. And I don't mean to be mean, but, goddamn. Some of the stuff he says is just, it bothers me, and he plays on black people's emotions and, slave history and, wealth, and he stop, no, there is not one politician that's going to put more money in your pocket. Okay? Stop believing that. The only way they're going to put more money in your pocket is to cut taxes because that's how they take the money. That's it. Nobody's coming and putting more money in your pocket. Just know. They got all this crazy stuff going on out here talking about climate change. And I believe in climate change, but I also believe that it's a global problem. I don't think it's It's an American problem. They tell you that America is going to fix climate change. And that's what I'm talking about with these people. You know, they're like, plastic straws and cheeseburgers are the problem with the world. Let me tell you something. Nobody knows when the world's going to end. The world's not going to end in 12 years. Actually, I take that back because I just told you nobody knows when the world's going to end. I don't know when the world's going to end. But I'm willing to make a bet that the world's not going to end in 12 years. Some people, they're playing on these young kids' emotions and telling them that the world's going to end and we're getting too hot. And scientists say this, scientists say that. Scientists have been saying shit for a long fucking time. For a long time, scientists have been saying shit. They said Nibiru was coming, which was a meteor that was supposed to hit the world in 2012. They said the world was going to end in 2000. First, they started saying the world was getting too cold and we're going to freeze over. Then they said New York is going to be underwater. And then they started saying, well, now the world's getting too hot and we're going to explode and this, that, the other. And now they just say it's climate change because they don't know what the fuck to call it anymore. It's all... Nobody knows what's going to happen in the world. There's fucking, you know, it's not because a fucking hurricane happened in Florida where hurricanes happen. You know what I'm saying? That's in hurricane season. That's not, climate change. There's going to be another hurricane next year around the same time because that's what the fuck happens when you live in the coast of Florida. I don't know. It's just so much shit. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to hear to kill nobody's dreams. I know there's probably a whole bunch of people that are listening to this right now going, what the fuck is he talking about? Climate change is real. We're going to die in trouble. Scientists say, trust me, they don't know shit. Look up some of the old past shit that they've been saying was going to happen. The Ice Age, the world freeze over, 2012, all this shit that they say is going to happen. It never happens. Everybody thinks they can predict the end of the world. They can't. These scientists don't know more than God. Don't believe that. It's a bunch of crap, man. It's a bunch of crap. Does that mean that we don't need to be better stewards of our environment? Do we need, clean water, clean energy? Do we want clean air, all that stuff? Absolutely. You want to make the earth, it's like this, right? Check this out. You have people that go to the beach that pick bottles out of the ocean, you know what I'm saying, and pick all the trash up out of the ocean because they feel like they're doing something. They look at the ocean and they say, it's so dirty. Look what we're doing to our environment. It's dirty. We got to get all this trash out the water, and all that stuff is fine, right? But check this out. Kim Jong-un and North Korea shoot nuclear missiles into the Sea of Japan. So while you guys are out there picking up plastic bottles out of the ocean, Kim Jong-un is shooting nuclear missiles, nuclear radiation, and all that shit leaking into the water into the Sea of Japan. So what the fuck are you really cleaning? People don't even know how deep the ocean goes. There's fucking sinkholes. There's the Bermuda Triangle where boats go and they never fucking come back because there's fucking water spouts and so many other different things that happen in the ocean, and you motherfuckers is out here trying to pick up bottles. I'm just trying to say people don't really understand the bigger picture. They're not doing the research. They're not paying attention to what's going on. They're getting caught up by the little things. They're being scared into following stuff that's not true. But they gotta figure this out themselves, like we talk about the wealth gap, the wealth gap in this country. What causes the wealth gap in this country? High taxes. That's what causes the wealth gap to me, because as soon as you really make any real money, they take half of it. I think what's tax right now? 37%, and that's low. So just imagine, take amount of money, go ahead and take $1 million and then take 37% off and see what you're left with. And then remember that you have to pay those taxes yourself. Now imagine somebody making that much money, making $1 million, losing 37%, not knowing it until the year comes around when you have to pay taxes. After you done already spent all that money, now you're in debt. So you never have a chance to catch up. You know what I'm saying? You want to close the wealth gap, lower taxes so people can keep more of their money. That's what you need. You know? And you need more financial education. There's no financial education going around. I'm about to get into this investment section real quick before we get up out of here. But there's not enough financial education going around. Not enough financial literacy going around. They need to teach you stuff in school. They need to teach you how to invest. They got little girls walking around with fake babies. You know, when we're in fucking high school, the baby's crying and do all that. Give somebody a fucking stock portfolio. Give them a real estate portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Show them how to really, you know what I'm saying, make some money and do certain things. You know, they don't do that. You know, you gotta look this stuff up, and you gotta be willing to find and do the research yourself. Lucky for me, I've been able to do that at a time when I still been able to utilize it in a positive way and continue, and hopefully we'll be able to going forward. But, you know, other people need to know these things. You know, my people have been brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? My people have been brainwashed, and they're trapped. You know what I'm saying? Don Tripp got this song called "Trapped in the Trap," and that's what it is right now. And we got to break out. I slowly see it evolving. You know, I'm a big, like I say, that's pretty much all on politics. Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada got caught wearing blackface. He was dressed up as an Indian. I was told that, you know, I don't know if he was dressed up as a genie. I don't know. You can look up the pictures and take it as yourself. I'm not really a fan of Trudeau. He's in a tight election. He might lose. So, but it should be known because, you know, obviously that's a big thing, and it just goes to show you. And this wasn't no young kid. This is what he was doing. He was a 30-year-old man. You know, just how he felt. So, you know, save it. But yeah. So that's that. But like I said, I wanted to quick. We about to finish this up. So let me get to the markets and to the investment part of the show. One of my favorite parts of the show. Really a new part of the show. But we're gonna talk about, you know, investment, because I was just talking about the wealth gap and why it's so important to invest in financial literacy and learning these things. Because everybody wants to be rich. Nobody wants to put in the work. And one thing I've learned doing these things is there's no quick way to get it. You know, there's no overnight scheme unless somebody calls you with the contract. Yeah. So, yeah. That's all I want to say. But yeah, so, you know, you can invest. And when I say invest, that means you can invest in yourself. You can invest in your home. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in the stock market. You can invest in annuity. You can get you a trust fund. You can, you know, 401k. There's so many different ways you can do it. There's different types of ways to investment. You can become a dividend investor. You can become a day trader. You can become a swing trader. You know, like I said, you can do real estate. You can do all type of real estate. You can flip homes. You can do commercial. You can, you can do whatever you want to do. But you gotta get into these things. You gotta look them up. You know, you gotta look up taxes. It's very important. You know the taxes. You know your tax bracket. It's very important. You know math. If you don't know math, you won't have money. It's very important. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't know math, you won't have money. You will lose track of your spending. You'll lose track of everything. Like I said, I'm not the richest, but I'm just now learning how to put shit in order. And, you know, I just wish I would have knew sooner. But anyway, you know, for my people that's on the markets, if you're an investor, you know what I'm saying? Where we at? Dow Jones was down 19% today. NASDAQ was plus 7%. S&P was unchanged. We over 3,000 now. And things been going good. I think Microsoft was moving, had the biggest moves today on the market. I've been investing in Microsoft for a little while now. I think they finished up 141. I think I bought Microsoft back when it was, when I bought Microsoft when it was, hold on, I'll tell you. Pull out my portfolio right now. I think I bought Microsoft back when it was 134. So It's up 141 now. You know, so just stuff like that. Market's doing good. I always say invest in what you believe in. I usually, one thing, like for me with my investing, is I usually look for dividend stocks and stocks of things that I use. So like I say, my style pretty much is kind of what do I do? So my cable, right? So I'm investing in AT&T, and my cable is AT&T. My internet's AT&T. We pay the bill on AT&T. But now I'm in a situation where I own AT&T. I get some shares. They pay me dividends every month. So in a weird way, you know, I'm getting a return on my money, even though I'm paying my cable bill, even though I'm paying my internet bill every month. As the stock continues to grow from where I purchased it at, and as the dividends continue to roll in, I'm making back slowly at a very slow rate. I don't want to make it back because, I'll let the markets move slow. You lose money faster than you make it. Unless you really, really know what you're doing. And but my point is, I'm making a return from what I'm paying for this bill. And it's the same thing with McDonald's. I'm investing in McDonald's. I eat McDonald's a lot. So I'm spending a lot of money there, but they pay me dividends. And their stock continues to, even though it's been kind of down lately, it continues to go up. So slowly but surely, like you got to think years down the line, I'm making a return for all the money that I'm spending there anyway. It's recycling. So a lot of things that I do is I invest in companies of things that I use that I know I have good products. For instance, what attracted me to Microsoft was the Xbox mixer and all that other stuff. And I say, man, Microsoft makes the Xbox. This is going to be something. People are always going to be playing video games. So it was a attractive company to me, and it turned out to be working pretty well and a good investment, as well as other things. I don't want to go through everything, but just the reason why you should invest. And if you, like I was talking earlier, we had this guy come, life insurance guy was getting some life insurance, and he was talking to me about it. He was talking, about losing your money in the market and the crash. I think I don't know when the crash was, 2009 or something like that, whenever the crash was. But my thing was, the markets always rebound. Like I said, we just hit a new high right now of over 3,000 with the S&P. So even when the markets had crashed and everybody lost everything, if you hold, it'll slowly make its way back. And that's one thing I learned from my career in early investing. I had lost a lot of money because the markets had went down, and my instant reaction was to sell. Well, now looking back, all those positions that I sold, they're either close to or higher than they were now. So had I just held all those positions and not paid attention to it, I would have been making money anyway. But you can panic, and panic is not a strategy. So you don't want to do that. But yeah, that's just some tips and some pointers. Some bad stocks I think you should stay away from is Uber. It only goes down. Really, any stock with non-profitable companies. I think I'm more of a dividend guy. I love investing in yield, stocks that have a good yield, stocks that are good companies, well known. I'm not so much a startup guy. I have picked a weed company because I want to talk more about weed stocks. I think I'm going to save it because we've been going kind of long on this. But I have picked a weed stock. I'll probably let that know on the next one. I'm gonna say that for next episode. Weed stocks. Let me check it out. So on the next episode, if bro not back yet, we'll do a little segment on weed stocks, and I'll tell you what I think about the weed stocks and how we going about that. And I'm telling people you should invest. Don't have no fear, no recession. Hold your stocks. Hold your equity. You never know what's gonna happen with money. I'm not big into crypto, but I do think people should get crypto if you know what you're doing. I got to learn about it more, and I want to get into it. And also remember, full disclosure, these are all my opinions. I'm not telling you what to invest in, what you should or what you shouldn't invest in. It's completely up to you. Don't go around saying, David told me to invest in Microsoft and that is that the other. The one thing about investing is the margin. You should always watch a stock before you put your money into it. Know what, you should know that stock. Before I know a stock, I know for the week or whatever what the price is, what the price range is, how high it go, how low it go. Some stocks are big dippers and big leapers. For instance, Chick-fil-A, or not Chick-fil-A, I'm sorry, Chick-fil-A is not a stock, that's a private company. Chipotle, CMG is simple. It'll go down all the way to like below 700. The next day, it's up above $835. You know what I'm saying? So, but it'll drop to like 750. So some stocks are big movers. Amazon's one like that. It'll gain $18, $20 in a day. You know what I'm saying? So some stocks are big leapers and big movers, and it's just you have to pay attention and you have to know the stock pretty much in and out. This might not be accurate, but to me, it has been that all stocks are good stocks if you can get them in the right margin, unless it's a bad company that's going down. And you always want to make sure it's a profitable company, because companies that aren't profitable, that say, we see a way to profit and blah, 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 blah. That's another thing people don't understand. A lot of people see these big time companies like Uber. Uber's not even a profitable company. And so many other, Under Armour and a whole bunch of stuff. You would be surprised at these big time brands that aren't profitable and their stocks don't perform well. But, yeah. And also looking at real estate, looking at property that's on sale around your environment. Your area and things that you're doing. It's always good to own something. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't afford it now, just look at the listings. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to afford it right now, but look at the listings going around and know what's on sale in your area and for how much and where you are, and be like, you'll be surprised. Just look up some stuff and do research, man. Do research and do homework. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the smartest guy, but I just want my people to have an opportunity and have a chance, and we have one. We're not slaves, we're free. We got a chance, and we're not controlled by anybody. We control ourselves, and you got to know that. Also, I want to shout out Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has a venture capital equity firm that he started 3 years ago in 2016. He invested $100 million in it. They have over $2 billion under management right now. So that means people that's invested in the company, athletes, other big time people that put money in, and they grow capital with it. He has the portfolio. It's called Brian Stiebel, and I forgot. I think the guy's name is Jeff Stiebel that he co-founded the place with. But Kobe has his own equity firm, and I think that's very important, because when you talk about Kobe having an equity firm worth over $2 billion. And this is another thing about real estate. Like I said, I feel like LeBron James needs to, because he has a lifetime contract with Nike. I don't know his finances personally, but he needs to buy up every piece of land, every piece of property that goes on sale in Cleveland. So anybody that wants to do any type of business in Cleveland, that wants to put their business in Cleveland, that wants to use a piece of land, they have to go see LeBron. And I think that's something he should look into. But another thing is, with these equity firms, when you look at Kobe having $2 billion under management in an equity firm, if we can continue to grow and continue to build our own firms, our own hedges, our own trusts, and then at some point combine, because there's a lot of money managers and there's a lot of equity firms now that have $24 billion under capital, $100 billion under capital. There's a $1 trillion money manager out there. If we can take that in our community and put together our own firms and our own venture capitals and things like that, we can then combine them. I mean, and this obviously would take a leap. People would have to. But if you could combine everybody's and turn it, $2 billion here, $4 billion here, and put everybody's together, we would literally we could start our own $1 trillion fund that would be able to support the African American community. We wouldn't need government. We would be able to recycle our own money. We would be able to own equity in each of these companies. We'll be able to buy our own property, buy our own land, and recycle for ourselves. It would take coming together and doing it. But when you look at some of, I don't know all the funds, the hedge funds and trust funds and everything right now off the top of my head, but you can see if they put their money together and combine their funds, how big they would be. And we could do the same thing as a community if we got more into investment, if we got more into these type of things. And, I'm trying to make it possible. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, it's possible. And, we can do this. And it's already taking shape. I already see, changes happening. I already notice different things. You shouldn't underestimate people. And we moving forward as a community, and that's something that I'm happy about and something that I take pride in. But with that being said, man, I ain't gonna, this show's been a little crazy. It's my second show by myself. I miss my bro on here, man. I love going back and forth. I need a counterpart. So if bro's not back by next week, I might have to find me a new co-host for the interim. My other one, the bro, wanted to start a show really about investing and about trading and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. I'm trying to work on a female show for the ladies. So I'm gonna have 2 females do a show that we're gonna be producing on 6ix9ine Entertainment. We still working on saying Bros Wavy mixtape still coming. Winners Mentality still coming. We got a new tape we're working on called The Steiner Brothers that should be coming out either by the end of the year or the beginning of the next year. Probably by the end of this year. It'll be out before the end of this year. And so much other stuff we're working on, man. We got the ground, we got the foundation. This has been another edition of 220 Podcast. I want to thank y'all for joining me. If you listen to this entire show, you're amazing. If you didn't make it through, I understand. It was some bumps in the road, but we're going to get better as we continue to grow. This is 220 Podcast. This is 6ix9ine Entertainment. Like, comment, and subscribe. Go back to the beginning of the show. David the King on Twitter. David the King TV on Twitter. David the King on Instagram. Wavy220 on Twitter. Sip Beats on Instagram. Instagram, the 220 Podcast. Twitter, the 220 Podcast. Twitter, nobody second. Instagram, second to nobody. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Whatever social media you on. If you're listening to this on Apple, follow, subscribe, rate, do everything, man. You guys know what to do, man. I don't even got to tell you. Before we get out of here, let me tell you, remember you can go buy the podcast at 6ix9ine.com/the220 Podcast. All proceeds go to making the show better, improvements as well as within the company and everything else we're doing. Just a donation would help. Everything's appreciated. Follow the 220 Podcast on Twitter for news updates and things we'll be talking about on the show. And before I go, let me get the clowns of the week. Usually we do a clown of the week. This time we got 2 clowns of the week, and that would be 6ix9ine for snitching and Paul Feinbaum for being a fucking idiot. But go to 6ix9ine.com. Go to 6ix9ine.com/shop. Pick up some merch. Shop Second to Nobody, and most importantly, stay second to nobody, man. I'm David the King. This is the 220 Podcast. We out.